Hello, my name is Ashan. Welcome to LAJA. This is a channel dedicated to African fashion, prints, and textiles. If that's something that is up your alley, I encourage you to subscribe and peruse the array of videos that I have on my channel. Before we get in, some housekeeping. A few ways you can support my channel are, first of all, by purchasing my ebooks. I have two ebooks. The first is Deceased Textiles, the Controversial Origins of African Prints. And this just gives you the history of African prints, answers the question, are African prints truly African? The second book is Ika Proverbs. This one is really close to my heart because I worked with my family to compile these proverbs that are native to my tribe. I'm from Delta State, and it's over 150 Ika proverbs that you should know. And it's just a book full of proverbs that will just help give you some more insights and just give you some words of wisdom. And then another way you can support my channel is through purchasing these very amazing handmade earrings that are available for sale. They're handmade with love in Nigeria by my mom. And why this is really close to my heart is because, you know what, I'm actually going to wear it for this video because I feel like it goes. These are also by my mom. Fulfilled Jewelry is the name of her brand, but I have these specific tassel earrings in different colors for sale, and every time I put them on, it just reminds me of home. And it not only does it help complete my outfit by making me look stylish and chic, it also makes me feel comforted like I have my mom with me. So I truly believe in her products. My mom only produces quality products, and I stand behind her products because they're excellent quality, excellent craftsmanship, very creative design. So you can see this is another one that we have in red, and we have them in different colors. I even have them here in white. So this is how the white ones look like. I wear these almost every day. When I tell you that 80% of my jewelry are made by my mom, besides my fine jewelry collection, the rest of my jewelry collection, which is 80% of them, are made by my mom. So I stand behind the quality and the dexterity of the products that she does produce, and I know that when you purchase these earrings, you're going to love them as much, if not more, than I do. So head over to my website, misslaja.com. This is the pink one. We have it in pink as well. I'm obsessed. But for this video, just so you can see how it wears, I'm going to wear the black ones because I feel like those go the best with my outfits. So I'm going to take off these ones that I have on right now. Also by Fulfilled Jewelry. Stunning. I feel so blessed to have a mom that is into jewelry because I get to have jewelry for almost new ones every single year. And if one of them gets bought, I can just take it back to her and have them fixed. So this is what it's looking like. Isn't that beautiful? So this could be yours today. Head over to misslaja.com and purchase yours, and you can start building your own collection of made in Nigeria jewelry pieces. So today's video, we're going to be discussing an Ika proverb, and I'm going to tie that in with lessons we can learn from the dead. And the Ika proverb is gotten from my ebook, over 150 Ika proverbs you should know. And the proverb goes as so: the stubborn fly that refuses to listen follows the corpse to the grave. And I'll say it again: the stubborn fly that refuses to listen follows the corpse to the grave. So I tied it in with lessons from the dead because I want to share some lessons that I've learned from my ancestors. So my grandparents, my great-grandparents, mostly my grandparents, because that's who I had direct contact with before the transition of this realm. So the first lesson I learned, I actually have notes. I have my Ankara journal here that I am reading my notes from. So, the first lesson I have is the importance of making up your mind and making a decision. And I learned this from my maternal grandmother, Rita. And if you haven't watched already, I encourage you to go and watch my video honoring my ancestors, where I share the maternal lineage of my ancestors. And you have faces to who Rita is. I'm just going to say their names, but if you watch that video, you have more context. But I learned this especially from my maternal grandmother, Rita, who was known for being very indecisive. I don't know if it's because she's a Gemini, but she was a Gemini. But she was notorious for not making decisions on time, or always deferring till like the last minute, and this caused her to miss out on so many opportunities that could have advanced her, from suitors to opportunities to advance her career abroad. And she was just very indecisive, and by the time she made up her mind, the time had already passed and the opportunity window had closed. And this also ties into, and when I spoke with her, I noticed that she really cared a lot about what people thought about her. And I'm not saying you shouldn't care what people think, but to an extent, you shouldn't care about it to your own detriment. And I feel like sometimes she cared so much about what people would think of her, what her image, what people would say, and it cost her a lot of opportunities that would have advanced her even further. Even though she was successful as a mother and in her career, she could have gone a lot further if she had just been, as her brother had put it, more selfish and more decisive in the opportunities that came her way. So that's the first lesson that I would say I learned from the dead, and that's from Rita. So the second lesson I learned from the dead is the importance of owning yourself and having self-confidence as a woman, especially in the realm of men. I learned this a lot from my paternal grandmother, Victoria, and great-grandmother, Ashanwa. So I'll start with Victoria. Victoria was known to be a woman that held her own. She wasn't easily bossed around. She owned her space. And I'm not going to go too much into her story. Again, I encourage you to watch the video honoring my ancestors so you can get more context on why I told you that she was a woman who was known to hold her own ground. But her marriage to my grandfather, Patrick, was not the smoothest. My grandfather had married her as the first wife, but he went on ahead to marry more wives. He brought in about 2 more wives, and they were in a polygamous marriage. Of course, Victoria wasn't happy about the whole arrangement, but she did not have a say-so in how the marriage turned out, because again, it's a patriarchal society and the man makes the rules and has the final say. So, of course, Patrick married 2 more wives, in addition to my grandmother, Victoria. And I was told that my grandmother was unfazed by that. She wasn't happy, but she took the time to still focus on herself, focus on her efforts, focus on her household, focus on her children, her business, and her own home within the entire situation. And because of that, the other women could not stand a chance. So she could easily have become bothered, allowed it to cause her to compete with the other women to kind of like prove her worth to my grandfather, Patrick. But she chose to focus her efforts on herself, because she always told my mom, who also told me that you should never chase penis, because penis is always going to come back to its owner. That's what she said in her own words. And I really stand by that, on the importance of not pursuing men, on allowing men to be and do what they want to do without forcing them. Of course, is it easy? No, it's not. But it gives you peace of mind. And I feel like as a woman, it makes you stand out more amongst other women, because the natural inclination of most women is to compete and to throw shade, backbite, sabotage, do all sorts of negative things to kind of eliminate the competition. But she chose to focus on her children. When it was her turn to cook, she cooked her food exceptionally well. She didn't trouble Odoziale, that was his titleship. She didn't trouble him. She didn't fuss at him. Of course, she voiced her concerns, but when he wasn't listened to, she just put the focus and energy back on herself. And it kind of like bothered my grandfather Patrick from what I was told, because he thought that it would cause more drama where she'd be fussing at him, chasing after him, trying to show him why she's the better wife. But she didn't do that. She just focused on her 10 kids. Yes, my grandmom had 10 children, so she was a busy woman. She focused on herself, her 10 kids, and the business that she had. So she was a very, very, not just industrious woman, but she owned her space. And because of that, the other two wives dropped away. They ended up leaving the polygamous marriage, and she ended up being the first. She returned to being the first and eventually the last wife of my grandfather. And after that, my grandfather closed up the marriage and said that he is no longer going to marry additional women, because he has found everything he needs in Victoria. So, ladies, I just want to share this message on the importance of constantly and consistently investing in yourself. Whether you're in a marriage or not in a marriage, whether you have a man or not, you should always seek to invest in yourself, because that's how you hold your value in the eyes of a man. Yes, cooking and cleaning is appreciated, but those are not the things that would necessarily tie him. It's how you treat yourself and how you treat the things that are within your possession that set you apart from other women. So that was the lesson that I learned from my grandmother, Victoria. And that leads me on to my next point, because one thread you would notice across all my grandparents and great-grandparents, especially the women, is they were all very industrious. They were mothers, they were wives, but they also had things going on outside the home as well. And it leads me to my next point, and that is the importance of being industrious as a woman. So, I want to say this. I'm all for a man providing. I feel like it's very important for a man to provide for his family, at least the bare necessities, the housing, food on the table, upkeep of the kids and the household and the woman that he has. I'm all for men being providers and protectors and women taking care of the home. But I still believe that women have God-given talents that they have been bestowed upon by God to utilize on this earth to push themselves further. And I really believe in women leaving a legacy behind for themselves. Yes, the man is going to have his own legacy, but I also believe in the woman having her own legacy in terms of what she's going to be known for after she leaves this earth. And one thing I've noticed about all my grandmothers is that they were also industrious. My maternal grandmother Rita was a nurse. My paternal grandmother Victoria had her own business, and my great grandmother Ashan, who is named after me, or who I am named after. Sorry, let's just gotta respect the elders. I'm named after her. I meant to say, she was also a business owner. She had a business, as well as, even though my grandparents my grandfathers were providers, they still owned their own businesses and did things to keep themselves busy. Rita was not married. She was never married, unfortunately. And I think something I've also learned from her was the importance of not being too masculine. Because it's not that there weren't suitors that came her way, but I feel like she had this overly sense of self-reliance, because she wanted to kind of like live life on her own terms, and she did that to a detriment, because she felt like if she was in a union or in a partnership, she would have to give up that sense of being able to do things when she wanted to do it. And to be honest, I really feel like that caused her early demise, because as a woman, being in your masculine energy, and the masculine energy, if you don't know what that means, is the energy of doing, achieving, independence, self-reliance, and just bearing the burden of other people without support. That's the masculine energy, and that's what men primarily possess, because that's what their biology is made for, while women possess the feminine energy, which is the receiving, the cooperative, the nurturing, the seeking out and receiving support, the receptive energy, the energy of collaboration. relationships instead of individuality. And I feel like if she had possessed a lot more feminine energy, even self-preservation as well is a feminine trait because it seeks to preserve and hold on to what it has. And I feel like if my grandmom had been leaned into her feminine energy a little bit more, she would still be alive today. And she wouldn't be an ancestor on my altar. And so I feel like, where was I going with that? So yes, she was independent, but I feel like she would have gone a lot further if she had received help from others when it was offered. Because one thing I noticed about my grandma was that she wasn't really good at receiving. Even when I would like buy her things, she would never wear them. She'd always say, "Oh no, wait later." She would always defer them to a future date that unfortunately never came. And it was just very disappointing, to be honest. But I really learned the importance of not only being able to like make up your mind when it comes to men especially, but also allowing yourself to be feminine and allowing yourself to be supported and being able to receive help. My grandma was only able to receive help as much when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that's when she really needed the help. And even then it was till the last leg when it was like she had no other choice. And I feel like that's very unfortunate and something that I can learn from, because I was like, I don't want to be a single mom. My mom grew up in a single household, and I know she said that was a cycle that she didn't want to repeat. And by God's grace, she was able to break that cycle. And by God's grace, I'm going to keep up that cycle as well by getting married and having a strong family unit where the man is the provider, the primary provider of the family, and I play more of a supportive role where I raise the children, take care of the home. But in as much as I want to do those things, I also believe in the importance of having purpose and passion as a woman. And that's what I feel LAJA is for me. It's kind of like a way where I express my creativity, but I feel like my purpose lies in this as well, in promoting African textiles and their different uses and the different ways you can incorporate them into your wardrobe and lifestyle. So yeah, ladies, it's important to have purpose. Yes, you're a wife. Yes, you're a mother. You're a mother. But what do you want to be known for outside that? And I'm not saying you should go ahead and chase a corporate career, because even though I work a corporate job right now, I don't consider myself a corporate woman, like a career woman, because my interests lie elsewhere. I just work a job right now because that's how I fund my life and I maintain myself as a single woman. But I definitely have aspirations to do LAJA full time by God's grace, if I'm given the opportunity and this ends up leading to somewhere even greater. And yeah, so that's the third point, being industrious as a lady and being able to profit off of the talents and passions that have been placed upon your heart by God and the universe. And then the last but not the least is the importance of having a supportive family when it comes to pursuing your dreams and aspirations. The importance of pursuing your dreams, of having a supportive family when it comes to pursuing your dreams and aspirations. And I learned this especially from Rita, because one thing she had told me was that Rita came from a polygamous home. So there were certain protocols and expectations that were placed upon her that she had to follow, and I feel like she had all these dreams, but she didn't really have the support system to, like, the guidance and the mentorship to go after it, and because of that caused her to miss out on so much. And she even told me herself that if she had known, she would, kind of like the whole if I had known. But again, things still ended up working out. But again, she would have been much further. But I just want to say the lesson in this is just the importance of being able to seek out mentorship. If your family isn't supportive of you, thankfully, I'm so thankful that I come from a very supportive family who supports me in my endeavors and doesn't judge me when I make mistakes, because I know I've made mistakes in my 28 years that I have been circling this earth. But it's still having a family that is behind you, for better for worse. There's nothing like having familial support. I'm such a huge family person. I believe in family. I desire to have a family of my own. I will have a family of my own by God's grace eventually when the timing is right. But because I want to cultivate that space and keep that tradition of family going, because I feel like my family is the reason why I'm here today. My parents set me up and they kind of like groomed and shaped me into the woman that I have become today. And I feel like if Rita had that support of family or even mentorship, so say you don't have familiar support, if you have mentors who are where you want to be and you look up to, you can seek them out for advice and guidance on which direction to go. I know that's something I do too. I pay for coaches who kind of like advise me when I'm going through crossroads in my life, and because I value external opinion, because sometimes, I'm not saying that I doubt my intuition, but it's just always good to have that external voice to just help push you in the right direction, or kind of like give you an alternative perspective that you may not have thought of. So I think those are my 4 lessons that I have learned from the dead that I shared with you. Let me know what are lessons you've learned from the dead, whether it's relatives or people who have passed away that are close to you. I would love to hear them in the description, in the comment section. I mean, let's have a conversation, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.